Hello and welcome to The Wire. Today we have with us Dr. Zafarul Islam Khan, who is a former chairperson of Delhi Minorities Commission and also the chairperson of Charity Alliance. Charity Alliance is one of the six NGOs or trusts which have recently been raided by National Investigation Agency in connection with alleged terror funding, in connection with an alleged terror funding case. So straight away, Dr. Islam, we would like to ask you. You said that you had no connection with any Kashmiri separatist organization, and the allegations which are being leveled by NIA are completely false and motivated. And you also linked this to the Bihar elections, to how and to how under DMC an independent fact-finding investigation was conducted, which found several BJP leaders, including Union Home Minister Amit Shah, as also UP Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath, responsible for making statements which the committee held probably vitiated the atmosphere ahead of the riots in Delhi. So we would like to first ask you, how did this raid happen yesterday? You tweeted about it. You said some people entered your house by scaling a wall. Kindly let us know the details of the raid.
Yeah, they came at 7 a.m., 7 in the morning, and they rang the bell. My son went out to see from the balcony because we live on the first floor. And the people over there, some of them were in uniform, some of them were in civils. They said we are from UN, from NIA, and opened the door. So because the door is closed from inside, he said, okay. He went to fetch the keys and was about to go there. And then they did not wait. They were so impatient. They did not wait and they jumped over the wall and came inside. So this is how they started. They straight away came to the first floor. Perhaps they knew that we live there. They did not go to the ground floor. And there they entered the house and ordered us to place our mobiles. First thing they did, place your mobiles, all of you, on a table. So all of us, I, my wife, my son, and my daughter and her husband who were visiting us at that time, all of us put our mobiles over there, and I sat on the sofa, and three of them sat in front of me. And they told me that we are from NIA and we have the orders to raid your premises and office. So I said, where is the order? I want to see it and give me a copy. So that we don't say, they said we don't give you a was an order from, I think, one Mr. Yadav of NIA ordering these people to raid raid. Actually, the word used there was Charity Alliance, not Zafarul Islam Khan, Charity Alliance offices, and seize all papers, seize all records, seize balance sheets and things like that. So I said, okay, no problem. If you are from there, I cooperate and I respect law. So I sat there and said, go. So they started searching every room on the first floor. There were 5-6 rooms. They went in our bedroom. They found some money. They took it. And then they, after some time, I think maybe they stayed there from 7 to 11. I think about 9 o'clock, they went downstairs. And where is the offices of Milli Gazette and our publishing arm, which is Faroos Media and also Charity Alliance. They started taking out all the laptops. Of course, on the first floor also, they had taken all the laptops and took all the laptops that were there. And also they took the hard disks of all the computers over there, and also papers and checkbooks, things like that. Whatever they could find, they took with them. And it was about 11 o'clock by the time they completed their job. And then they asked my son to accompany them to the Shine Bagh police station so that they can make what they call a Caesar memo. So he went with them, and this continued until 7 o'clock in the evening. The recording of the thing that they had captured, or rather taken away from our office and from our home. And they did not just take things which are related to Charity Alliance, but they took everything and concerned with me personally, with my wife, with my children, even with my son-in-law who was visiting, and with our publishing arm, which is Farus Media, and our newspaper, which is Milli Gazette. Everything. I mean, not just Charity Alliance, but everything they found, they have taken.
So this NIA
Yes.
said that the raids by them on 6 NGOs and trusts, which include
Yes.
Falai Arm Trust, Human Welfare Foundation,
Yes.
JK Yatim Foundation, Salvation Movement, JNK Voice of Victims, and your Charity Alliance.
Yes.
They
Yes.
said these raids were conducted because these organizations were collecting funds through donations, business
Yes.
contributions, and other means in the name of welfare activities, but was sending them to J&K through various channels such as hawala and cash couriers. And this was being used, and this money was being used to carry out and sustain secessionist and terrorist activities in J&K. So you, after this raid, you went on record to say that it seems there is an
Well,
attempt to implicate me in some terror or riot case, and you denied any connection with
yes.
any Kashmiri organization, especially secessionist ones. So what do you have to say about it? Because you've helped out people in floods over there, and you've done some amount of charity. So, but
Yeah,
overall, what
I
do you
will
say about
explain that.
it?
Yeah, I will explain that. You see, yes, for the last many years, I have no connection with Kashmiris, and I have not visited Kashmir. I think for the last maybe 6, 7 years, I have not visited Kashmir. And we have never supported any separatist movement over there, or even by a statement, because when I was president of the All India Majlis-e-Mushawarat, which is the apex body of Muslim organization, I was the president for 8 years. I never supported the separatist movement. Whatever we said, either inside Mushawarat or outside, or what we wrote in our newspaper, it was always against the atrocities and human rights violations which happened over there. And also, I said all the time, and even now I should repeat that I demand that the army should be taken away from residential areas and put on the borders. Army's job is not to sit in the villages or in towns or in mohallas or on chowks. This is not. When it happens, there is friction all the time. So this is not job. This is the job of the police. Police is supposed to be in residential areas to do whatever. So this is our reservation, that we have always spoken against human rights violations in Kashmir, but we have never supported the separatist movement. I have said many times, even very recently, I have said in an interview with the Malaysian newspaper and many other things on occasions, I have said that we never support. Because I am supposed to be a leader of the Muslim community, I said in the name of the community that our community never wants Kashmir to be part of Pakistan. We want it in India. That is our country. That is our land. And we want the Kashmiris to be proud people, proud members of our community. That is our stand. So I have never supported them. I think I should tell you this, that even people in Kashmir, like Gilani Saab, he knows me very well. I know him. I visited him in his home. And when there was Amarnath issue over there, a big issue, in which Hurriyat has taken a very stringent stand against the Amarnath Yatra, I persuaded Girani Sahab to retract his. I personally, when we went in a delegation, I was part of that delegation and I was leading because I was the president of Mushawarat at that time. I requested him repeatedly, please reconsider your opinion. So after that, he reconsidered. Okay, now Amarnath Trust may have Kashmiri Hindus, but not Hindus from outside. So this actually calm down and settle that issue at that time. About same Mr. Gilani, I would tell you that I had held an international conference here in Delhi, an interfaith conference, which was inaugurated by Vice President of India. There, Mr. Gilani repeatedly asked me through a courier that I want to speak here something. I told him, you speak only about the subject of this conference. And so I gave him 10 minutes and he came and he started speaking about Kashmir. So I stood up. I was the conducting the conference. I said, Mr. Gilani, this is not the correct platform for you and please stop it. So he did not stop at once, but I made him and I then explained that this is not correct. This conference, this big international conference, 2-day conference is to bring amity between people of various religions. It's not about the political issue of Kashmir. It should be settled over there or between India and Pakistan. After that, when we went out in the recess, Mr. Gilani was there standing with a lot of other people, Kashmiris and others. Over there, he told me, in front of all these people, "Aapke dil patthar ke ho gaye hain. Your hearts are stone." So this is how we have reacted, and this is how. So there is no question whatsoever that we have ever supported separatist movement over there. And about our work, which is actually our charity alliance is a very small NGO. It's not something very big. Our turnover is something like between 10 to 20 lakh rupees, which is nothing actually, if you think. But in Kashmir, at the time of the floods in 2014, we did do some work there. We distributed food kits. We distributed free medicines. We distributed blankets, things like that. But that was the one time where we did something big over there. Otherwise, we may have given some scholarships to somebody. Some poor person has been helped in education. Our main thrust in the charity alliance is education and medical health.
Did the NIA officers ask you about any of this, and did they share a copy of the FIR with you on which they are investigating?
No, they did not. Actually, I asked them, please give me. They have not given me. They did showed me only that search order on their screen, on the screen of the mobile.
And they did not question you also on
I have nothing. And they did not interrogate me. They did not question me. No. There was no question. They only went about in the residential area, then in the office, whatever they wanted to take. We did not resist at all. Actually, there was no question resisting these people. There were so many. They had blocked my lane from both sides, and there were so many people. And I should also say that I really aggrieved at this, that this raid was so sensitive. This was a secret thing. Nobody knew. And we were actually taken as hostages inside our homes, our home. Even then, the car of the Republic TV was there in time. 7 o'clock they were there. Their car was parked just outside my house. While other journalists, so many journalists came there, and they were not allowed by the police. But Republic people were allowed there. But I must also add that after that they started. I mean, it was journalists or whatever you call them, these announcers. She started speaking rubbish over there, that these people are smashing my camera. Nothing like that was happening. So people got angry and they drove her out. So this is how government is doing. I mean, they were in cahoots, in hand in glove with a channel which is spewing venom all the time, and especially against me, personally against me. They have been, even when Mr. Arnab Goswami was in Times Now, he was speaking ill about me. So this is their history. So I should reiterate that there is no question that we have ever supported any separatist movement in Kashmir or any other place. I mean, it's no question about that. We are Indians. We are better. Yes.
So you also spoke about, connected this issue to Bihar elections, saying, I think the raids are related to BJP's dwindling chances in Bihar elections. So one phase is already over to our left now. And today's papers say the raids are in preparation for the forthcoming FATF meeting. Every move by
Yes,
BJP is well planned and choreographed. Why do you think so?
yes. You see, one has to think why things happen. I mean, in BJP, every election there is something big like this. I mean, the incident in Pulwama was condemnable, but how they used it
Yeah.
for election purposes, we don't know. Any other thing, every election they do something like this. They use it. I mean, this is their if there is no issue, they will create an issue. So at this time when they are I think this is our position. I don't know if it's true or not, but that they are losing over there. So they are trying to send a message to voters or to people outside that we are very strict with actually they are. It is my perception that the actions of this party or their government in Kashmir has added fuel to whatever I mean was there in terms of separatism and terrorism or anger of the people against the central.
Another statement which came from you yesterday was that they are trying to penalize me for my work in Delhi Minorities Commission, especially the report on Northeast any riots, which is Northeast Delhi riots. So under you, when you were chairperson of Delhi Minorities Commission, a
Yes,
nine-member committee was formed under uh, uh, advocate on record in Supreme Court M.R. Shamshad,
yes,
and in
yes,
June it submitted its report, which was subsequently made public, and before you demitted office in July. And this report had,
yes,
among other things, accused
yes,
Home Minister Amit Shah and Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath and some other BJP politicians of quote unquote fanning communal sentiment through their speeches before the February riots. It had also charged that police were complicit and abetted the attacks during the riots. So, do you feel that this kind of fact finding you undertook in a way, since it um, named some BJP politicians, that is another reason for behind these raids?
our problems with I should say BJP government at the center started on the 4th of March. I had paid an official visit to the area on the 2nd of March, and on 4th of March, we uh, published a small report, 3-4 pages of our I mean, assessment of the situation over there. And in it, we said that the riots were planned, that a certain community, of course, you understand which, was attacked, and most of the damages are done to them. Most of the people killed are from that community. Their houses, their shops, their garages, their offices, their mosques, their dargahs have been attacked, and not just attacked, but blasted, with cylinders. I mean, horrible images that you could see. We saw it ourselves. So on that very day, they started attacking me, that this man is misusing the DMC and misusing his office to slander BJP, and he started in the media, on the social media, their trolls, etc. started. So that started from there. Then we kept on, actually from the 24th of February, we were intervening in the matter, writing to the police commissioner, deputy CP, ministers, I mean, all kind of various DCPs, various, every single day we were intervening in matters through letters, through emails, to whatever means, specifically telling them what is this happening, what you are doing about this, and so on. And it went on. I mean, not just it stopped with the 27th or 28th February when it stopped, but when they started arresting Muslim youth after the riots, they started changing the narrative or creating a new narrative. Then there was the problem with the compensation. The compensation was, in our assessment, was meager. Then we asked the government to raise it, and they did raise it actually. So we were all the time active about this and directing the police to, and asking them questions, sending them notices. And this is all documented in our annual report, last annual report, which I published before I demitted office. That is different from the report itself. The report on the Northeast riots is one thing, and whatever we were doing is much more than that. So then came this report, actually. This report, I think on the 2nd of March or something like that, I had written to the revenue minister asking him, because he's our minister actually, asking him to appoint a committee, an official committee to look into the riots, and he did not do anything. So then on the 9th of March, because our act allows us, whenever there are such problems, we are supposed to study, we are supposed to prepare a report, we are supposed to do all these things, publish reports and things like that. So on the basis of our powers in the commission, I formed this committee and gave them 1 month to complete their work. And by the time they started earnestly their work, there was this pandemic. I mean, they started lockdown, this all. So their work was much hampered because of that. But still they continued. We gave them letters to facilitate their entry into those areas. They went there themselves, sometimes in groups, sometimes individually. And they also held during that time a meeting through Zoom. I think something like 10 meetings through Zoom between their members. Then when the lockdown was scaled down somehow, they asked us for more time, because due to the problem of the lockdown, they could not do their work properly. So I gave them another month, which was till the end of June. So in there, they continued their work, and on the 27th, I think, or 28th of June, they presented this report. And since our term was going to end next month, effectively on the 17th July, but actually on 19th, because that was the weekend. So I said that this report has now come, and we must publish it, because otherwise nobody will know. I mean, we don't know what will be the fate of this report once we have demitted office. So in this situation, the commission actually we are 3 persons over there. I mean, we decided that it must be published, so we got it designed, we got it printed, we sent the report. I think that was on the 9th of July. We sent the report to the government, to the Honorable Lieutenant Governor, to the Chief Minister, to the Deputy Chief Minister, to the Speaker of the Delhi Assembly, to all the ministers. Then after that, after 3-4 days, I made it public to the media. I invited a selection of journalists from print media and also from electronic media, and gave them reports. And this is how it became. So from that day, for many days to come, they started attacking me, that I am misusing my position, that I have overstepped I told them very recently, just 3-4 days back, the police commissioner said that the Delhi Minorities Commission's report is creating a new narrative, and that we don't this right. He questioned our right to prepare a report like that. So I tweeted in another tweet. I told him, please read the DMC Act before you speak about this thing, because this is our job. We are supposed to do this. If we don't do this, then we are accountable. Why you didn't do it? Such big thing happened and you did nothing. So this is how this report came. And I must confess that this report is mild. This report is very mild, because 9 people, for them to come around and approve something is not very easy. There were 9 people. I mean, I think the strength of the committee was big. They should have been 5 or 4 persons, but then 9 people were made, because to include people from all communities, from Hindus, from Sikhs, from Christians, from Muslims. So this is how it got big. And I must say, I mean, that the report was mild. They did not go down very strongly against that. We did not change a word in that. Whatever they said that was printed and that was given to the government, it is for the government to accept or not to accept. And you also said about that this report should be presented in the assembly. Actually, it should be this report and our annual report. They all should be presented in the report. And I must say very frankly that this government has not presented any of our reports in the assembly. And I wrote personally to Mr. Kejriwal that this is that the act says this that our reports should be presented with an action taken report. What the government has accepted, what it has not accepted, why it has not accepted, should be presented in the assembly, but they do not do it. I think they, for whatever
So
they have.
your report highlighted how the investigation was very one-sided and unidimensional, as people put it. And not only your report, a lot of other fact-finding committees, a high court judge, a lower court judge, they have all spoken about the bias in the
Yes,
investigation. Now, it was during the time of this investigation, when the investigations were going on, obviously there was anger among a lot of people about the way things were going. And on April 28th, you issued a tweet, and in that tweet, you tagged your Facebook post. Now that created quite a controversy. In the tweet, you said, I quote over there, you said, "Thank you, Kuwait, for standing with Indian Muslims." And you hashtagged Islamophobia in India. And the Facebook post you tagged along with that, it identified you as chairman of Delhi Minorities Commission. And while speaking to you, we see you normally don't use the names of communities. You try to avoid that. But in that Facebook post, you wrote, and I quote, "The Hindutva bigots calculated that given the huge economic stakes involved in the Muslim and Arab world, that given the huge economic stakes involved, the Muslim and Arab world will not care about the persecution of Muslims in India. And the bigots forgot that Indian Muslims enjoy huge goodwill in the eyes of the Arab and Muslim world for their services over centuries to Islamic causes." And you further said, "Mind you, bigots, Indian Muslims have opted until now not to complain to the Arab and Muslim world about your hate campaigns and lynchings and riots. The day they are pushed to do that, bigots will face an avalanche." So after this, a resident of Vasant Kuch lodged a complaint against you, and an FIR of sedition under the charge of sedition was registered. His charge was that this statement was provocative and it intended to cause disharmony and create a rift in the society. And you responded saying that the post was uh, uh, ill-timed. You did admit that the post was quote unquote ill-timed and insensitive in view of the country facing a medical
yes.
emergency. Now, in hindsight, do you feel it was some kind of anger or frustration in the way this investigation was being conducted that it compelled you to issue this statement, and you still stand by it, or do you think this is not what you actually meant?
You see, the context was the riots that had happened in northeast Delhi in late February, and then after that they started arresting Muslim youth. I think something like 1,500 Muslim youth were arrested after that. They were arresting just by their identity, not because they had done something. They used to go there in the morning and find, if they could find any Muslim youth over there in the lanes, in the on the street, they were arresting them. So this was very disgusting, and we were taking note of that in the commission. Then I saw this news report about the Kuwait government's decision to ask their foreign minister to take note of this and to work with the Organization of Islamic Conference, also the world community, to mitigate the problem that Muslims in India were facing. So I thought that somebody should thank them, so not as a minority commission chairman, but as a Muslim an Indian Muslim and a Muslim leader here. I'm supposed to be part of the community leadership here. So that's how I wrote that. And of course, the situation at that time was responsible for the anger that trickled into that tweet. And it should not have gone in the name of chairman of Delhi Minorities Commission. Actually, I did not do it. It is my office people who put that and tweeted. But once it was done, I could not do anything. I mean, it is well accepted. And then when there was an uproar about it, and I apologized, not because the tweet was wrong, but because it was ill-timed and because it was insensitive and because it was in the midst of an emergency, that is the corona pandemic. All that was actually rendered it, something which should not have been said at that time. In normal time, you can say things, but in extraordinary times, you have to be more careful. That is how it happened. But I never attacked any community. It is impossible. I cannot attack any community. I respect all religions, whether it's Jainism or it's Hinduism or Judaism or Christianity or any other religion. I mean, the religions are actually sent by God, whatever they shape now, because people in every religion have been changing, have been adding, have been doing things over time, whatever that is, but their origin is divine, and we therefore we respect them, and it is left to the believers in that religion to introspect and to see what is suitable for this time or for what is not suitable. It is for them. It's not for us, for other people belonging to other religions to decide. So this is how I can never say. What I said was Hindutva bigots, not Hindu bigots. Never. I mean, these Godi media's channels, they first they said it is Hindu bigots, then they said Indian bigots. I mean, they kept changing their narrative, and you can see it. I mean, the way that, for instance, Time Now was doing. I mean, I have prepared a chart of what I said and what they said. So this is how it was changed, and it was then given a meaning that I was inviting foreign intervention. How can I do that? I can never do that. It is impossible. I must add here that I am responsible that the issue of Kashmir is not being raised in certain big Muslim organizations abroad. Because I told them that what you are saying has no meaning. It does nothing, and it only complicates the matter. So two very big international Muslim organizations for the last 10 years, they're not saying anything about Kashmir because I stood there in the conference and told them this. So you
Which
cannot. I
are
mean,
these,
this.
sir? Which are these two? Yeah. Which
Uh, one
organizations are these?
one is the Qatar-based World Muslim Scholars Association. I was its trustee for 2 terms, and over there I told them that it is not does not serve any purpose, so they stopped. And also I am a trustee of World Muslim Youth Organization, which is based in Saudi Arabia. It is a very big organization, and I also over there I told them that this no, so they stopped. I mean, this is something very big. They have stopped speaking about Kashmir for the last 10 years. But nobody takes note of that. And I did not go to exhibit or to make a news of this, but this is what I did. I
So
still,
after this sedition case was filed, somebody also moved the High Court seeking your removal
yes,
from the post.
yes, yes.
The Delhi government stood by you. They did not press that issue, and you demitted office on the completion
Yes,
of your term.
I
Right.
must thank them that they stood with me, that they did not take any precipitate action because they said that only a few weeks are left, so it is not going to be a good thing to do. And I think they were right. I mean, the last 3 years, which I had served them as chairman of Delhi Minorities Commission, they had very great opinion about me, and they were saying the government, I mean, Kejriwal's government was saying that we have only two very good examples to show to the people. One is, of course, education. That is the how the Sarkari or government schools had improved, and other is the Minority Commission. Delhi Minorities Commission was doing work which was never done in India, either on national level or on a state level. We were intervening, we were getting relief, giving relief, doing things which nobody had done. We started giving them minority certificates. A lot of people wanted this, but there was nobody, no Tahsildar, no Deputy Commissioner, nobody was going to give them minority commission certificate. We started, and so many other things. We expanded it. We expanded the peace committee. We expanded the a lot of things actually. I mean, there's no time
So,
on this.
but
But I was
one
really
issue which
grateful,
is
and
cropping up
I
now.
personally am grateful they did
Yeah.
not take any precipitate action because of this pressure, and they just stood over there
Yeah.
until our
So, but
time. It was just
so one issue which is
weeks,
there
I think.
now is it is said that there's a difference between optics and doing things in reality. So while Amanatullah Khan, who is an Aam Aadmi Party MLA from Okhla, your area, he yesterday he came out, he obstructed the police, the NIA team while it was going out, and today they got an FIR registered against him. Or be it the Kejriwal government, by and large, giving all due respect to your office. But when it came to like placing reports submitted by your office in the Delhi Assembly, or ensuring that Muslims were not victimized during the investigation of the Northeast Delhi riots. A lot of organizations who've been and groups who have been involved in fact finding, they have found the Delhi government wanting in how it should have actually conducted itself. A lot of people now believe it has performed no better than what probably BJP would have in this kind of a situation, and some even accuse it of soft Hindutva. What do you have to say about this?
Yeah, I think there is some truth in it. They did not do anything during the riots. After that, they gave some compensation which was not had to intervene and ask the chief minister to raise it, and he did. I must be grateful for that. He did raise it. But the way that the government conducted itself, especially the lower level, the deputy commissioners and the SHOs and all them, many of them were found wanting, and they were found biased. Some people like the SHO of Dayalpur, for instance, or the deputy commissioner of that area. I mean, they were supposed to be helping the victim, but whether they were not helping, they were making fun of them, they were making even implicating them, and so many things happened over there. And these are actually some of these things we took note about that. So this is the responsibility of the government to look into these things and to intervene and to order, because they have got the power. We didn't have. We have advisory power. The commission has advisory power. And when we send them reports, not only this report, we send them many other reports. And I must say that our act says that every report should be studied by the government and placed in a very, I mean, in time. Actually, I don't remember the word, but I mean, quickly should be placed in the assembly with an action taken report saying what it has accepted, what it has not accepted, and what it has done. But I must say that they have done nothing about this. No report has been placed in assembly, and I wrote personally to Mr. Kejriwal about this. After which he wrote a letter to a certain department to take care of this. But I think my knowledge is that no such thing has happened, and none of our reports, the annual reports and other reports, have not been placed in front of the assembly. But I personally, because I knew this, I sent copies of these reports to every MLA and every MP in Delhi. That was I was doing to mitigate this issue, that they should know what is happening and what the commission is doing.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Khan, so much for joining us and answering all the questions so clearly and lucidly. Thank you so much for being with us. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
To receive instant updates on all videos from The Wire, click the subscribe button and hit the bell icon. Pay to support independent journalism. Click the link in the description and choose the amount you want to pay.